The orange and black of Fnatic is back. And this time they're going to be competing in EUL. Welcome back everyone, and this is the second episode of introducing you to the teams partaking in Stage 1 of EUL this season. And we are back with a banger. Freshly announced, Fnatic are back into Siege. And this time they'll be tackling the playground of the EUL. My home region as well, so very excited about this. And we have a couple words from team leader, the icon, Leon Gideons, also known as Leon Gids, and I'll let him take it away.
Hey guys, it's Leon Gids from the Fnatic Rainbow Six team. You should be supporting us this year because we're a UK org, UK players and the UK major all coming up in the span of the next 3 months. So you should get supporting the proper team from the UK, making sure you're showing us all the love. The future of this org and us as a whole is going to be very bright, I think. We're grinding our asses off this year. We're going to keep grinding to make sure we make all the events. Yeah, make sure you watch the rest of this video. Much love to everyone who supported us in the announcement, and we'll see you in the next stage of EUL. Thank you. Tom. Love you, Tom, as well. Big up Tom, tomjsherlock. Maybe we should get him on the team as well. We'll see.
Well, there you have it. Leon Gids with Biggie T and sappheiros in the background, telling you if you want to support a proper British side, bosh, get on the Fnatic. Up the Leon Gids, baby. I mean, I appreciate the kind words as well, Leon, but I mean, take a look at that. There's no way I'm ever making it as a competitive Rainbow Six Siege player. So who are Fnatic? To some of you with a good knowledge of Rainbow Six Siege, you may have heard of them before. They were actually active as an org inside the Japanese league after picking up the Guts Gaming roster for the past 2 years, and it was announced at the end of 2023 that this combination of the Japanese team and Fnatic were no longer. Come into March 2024 and we now have Fnatic entering back into EU with the ex-Koi/Rogue roster. So what did Rogue achieve? I mean, we still see Deepak and Leon Gids in the side, and up here is a picture from 2022 when that Rogue roster did manage to win the Berlin Major in some of the most epic final games I've ever seen. The final map 5 went down to an 8-7 with Rogue winning it up against FaZe in Berlin. Since then, that Rogue roster has changed over to Koi and now to Fnatic. It's been a sort of a downfall from grace for the side of Rogue, but they still hold a lot of fans throughout all of the world. They have seen Spoit go elsewhere over to America, Kanto Rocketti switching teams, along with Cryan now being no longer part of the squad. But let's have a look at how that old roster did last year in EUL Stage 2. So here you can see how they performed in the group stages of Stage 2 last year. For Koi, it was, let's be honest, quite frankly, a terrible time. They didn't win a single game in the group stages, only managing to pick up 2 points with 2 overtime losses. And the LCQs couldn't have gone any worse either. They lost 2-0 in their first game in the LCQ to Wild, which meant they didn't actually attend any LANs in that calendar year. So it was a bit of a stinker of a year for Koi. Since Rogue won that Berlin Major, a couple iterations of the team have come into place. But with Fnatic bringing on the brand and the team, there were a few more changes to be made. We've seen Tyrant come in from the old M&M's team, and we've also seen Jegs come across from Wild. During Stage 2 as well, there was also the pickup of the young gunner himself, Jigsaw, over from Australia, coming from the team of Bliss. So if you're not familiar with the faces, here are the boys in all their new fancy Fnatic gear. We have Jegs, Tyrant, Leon Gids, Jigsaw and sappheiros. And the main man I want to focus on is the man, the myth, the legend, Deepak, otherwise known as Biggie T. The reason I want to focus on this man is because in some of the previous tournaments he's played in, under Koi, Rogue, and now under Fnatic, he has put in some of the most impressive clutches I have ever seen in competitive Siege. I'm going to play you an example of one of them, and this is the Berlin Grand Final in front of an insane crowd in the Grand Final, and it's a 1 versus 4 clutch, and just look at the reaction and the passion from him after he clutches up in this one.
Here comes Kanto on the flank, shut down in bathroom by Souls. 4v1, Deepek manages to get one, but it's likely to be his last. No, manages to find a second. It's 1v2 now. He's got about 15 HP, but there is a chance.
The diffuser's down as well. That's the big one for him. Stepping across here, they hold the angle, but Deepek, Big ET could go huge here. The 1v1, cameraman stepping out far into the distance to look for a plant, and Deepek should know about it. He's holding tight, knows that this plant is going down, but can he get there in time? Cameraman's going to complete. Big ET finds a huge 4K and gives Rogue their first round on Villa.
So now some people's, I assume, favourite part of this series is the jerseys. Fnatic, they're an established org and they have multiple teams competing across a range of esports. So I'm going to show you a quick little snippet of their trailer for their 2024 jersey, and then I'll give my thoughts and opinions on it.
Once a Fnatic, always a Fnatic.
I think for me, it's personally the iconic orange and black of Fnatic, and it also looks incredibly clean as well. So I'm going to give this jersey a solid 8, maybe 8.2 out of 10. I'm not just biased, I don't actually have a Fnatic jersey this time, but if anyone wants to ship one this way, feel free to. So the question may still remain. Now you know a little bit about the history of the team and the players competing for Fnatic, why might you want to support the squad? Well, speaking from personal experience, having met Big ET, Deepek and Leon Gids before, I can safely say that they are two very, very passionate individuals. And their passion is infectious. They love the game, they love the org that they represent, and they're just good fun in person and also when you watch them on a broadcast. And I'm sure that the rest of the team have embodied that spirit along with Coach sappheiros, so I think it would be a very, very easy team to support because they have some fantastic personalities inside of that squad. So now we come to that stage of where I compare this R6 esports team to a football team. Apologies again if you're coming into this and you know nothing about football, but this is the closest comparison I can get. In my eyes, I'd probably compare Fnatic, or well, this roster which was previously Rogue/Koi, as a sort of a West Ham. We saw West Ham last year, win the Europa League conference, and we also saw Rogue in the past win the Berlin Major. But their league performances since then have been pretty meh and pretty underwhelming. And similar to the West Ham team, newly founded Fnatic, otherwise known as Rogue Koi, have always seemed to lack a little bit of that firepower up top since they lost Spoit. But bringing in Jigsaw, and now I believe Tyrant and Jegs as well, it is a truly well-balanced side. We've got Leon, Deepek, some fantastic IGLs and support players, and they've now stacked up on that firepower fragging entry capabilities. Jigsaw, we saw him do it over in the Oceanic region, and he's sort of just beginning to find his feet as we saw some impressive performances in the South Breach in the off-season. Bring in Tyrant, you know exactly what you're getting there as well. Same with Jegs. Two players who have been competing at a high level for a long time and competing well and putting up numbers also. So I think that's why there's that comparison to West Ham. They're a side that have had some previous success, but in the leagues they've sort of been floundering a little bit. But I think they have now solved that problem with Jigsaw and Tyrant coming in to give them a bit more of that extra oomph up top in that fragging potential. So that brings us to the end of another episode of introducing you to the EUL teams, with this episode being who are Fnatic. Will they have your support for this upcoming season? I'm sure you'll make your minds up soon because the season does start on the 18th of March. So get around it, get amongst it, and keep your eyes peeled for the next episode. Cheers guys, have a lovely day.